cover on the show today. Oh my goodness. I almost don't know where to begin. There's so much going on today, but I'll figure it out. I have a few seconds to figure it out. No, I know where I'm going to begin. I mean, there's just complete craziness going on. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Here we go.
Steve Kane Show with Brian.
Oh, man. It is Tuesday morning already. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. And, man, is there a lot going on in the news today. Oh, my goodness. So much going on. It's difficult to know what to lead with, but that's okay. I've got it all figured out. There's so much going on. Some of it good, a lot of it bad. Very scary story I'm going to start with here. We've been talking, well, unfortunately, about this attack on America. Yesterday we were talking about we're being invaded by land from our southern border and by air from our northern border. And there is a shocking revelation that came out about the shootdown over Lake Huron over the weekend of this Chinese flying something. They want to call it anything but that, right? A UFO. How about an identified Chinese aircraft? That's what it is. There is a really frightening story about the takedown of that Chinese aircraft over Lake Huron. And listen to this. The F-16 that shot down an object over Lake Huron on Sunday missed on its first attempt. Now, before I get to the rest of this, that right there, this isn't the scariest part I'm going to talk about right now. It gets scarier. It missed. So what kind of intel did the Chinese get on the targeting capabilities of our F-16s that are protecting the homeland? They missed. How can you miss this slow-moving object? It gets worse, though. And this is according to the government. The Pentagon is released this information. The Air Force F-16 that shot down an object over Lake Huron on Sunday missed its first attempt. A second Sidewinder air-to-air missile was needed. It's unclear where the first missile landed. Fox News is reporting that a U.S. Air Force F-16 that shot down an unknown object over Lake Huron yesterday missed on its first attempt, according to U.S. officials. By the way, each one of these Sidewinders, they say, costs $400,000. Where is this missile? Did it landed somewhere? Is it floating in the lake? Did it land in Canada? Did it land in America? Is it somewhere in Michigan? Did it detonate? Is it floating somewhere on the, well, I guess they said the lake is frozen. I don't know how frozen. Is this Sidewinder missile that they don't know where it is? If it didn't detonate, is it live? Could it detonate? What operation is being undertaken by the United States and Canada to locate this missing Sidewinder missile? Also, who's the pilot? Was it one of those ladies that flew over the Super Bowl they're bragging about? Well, they were Navy. This was Air Force, I believe. Where's this pilot? I mean, this guy's as great of a pilot as John McCain, who almost sunk a U.S. aircraft carrier in the Vietnam War. Where is this missile? I mean, to me, there needs to be a search on for this missile. 4 objects. This is scary. And I want to tell you something that we haven't had time to focus on. And I've been following this, and I've not seen anyone ask an official. They're using live ammunition over the United States of America, shooting down these Chinese aircraft. When is the last time live ammunition was used over U.S. airspace? over the land. When is the last time that's happened? This is, you know, I understand, you know, we support our troops, we support our military, we're conservatives. But hey, listen, we've got a very woke military, and the military, well, these are government workers. I mean, this is crazy to me. This pilot, whoever this pilot is, I want to know all about him. How can you miss with this type of aircraft, with this type of weaponry, with our most advanced targeting systems? Where, you know, how did this happen? The Chinese, do they have some type of, I don't know. I don't know too much. I've seen Top Gun Maverick recently, and I'm a big fan of Iron Eagle. Remember Iron Eagle? You know, I served in the military for the same amount of time as Bill Clinton and Barack Obama combined. So, you know, my experience is well, you know, not that extensive. How can a Sidewinder missile being fired from an F-16 of the United States, I'm assuming it was the Air Force or National Guard, I don't know, miss a target? How was that possible? Was there some type of jamming device for the targeting system on this Chinese aircraft? Because that's what it is. I know they want to try to talk about space aliens and UFOs and make a joke out of it. There's something in play here. There's something going on here. This object over Lake Huron may be more than meets the eye. If our, you know, I know the Pentagon, Austin, he's out there saying, oh, there's no military risk, there's no threat. How can you say that when it was able to somehow, you know, maybe the guy didn't miss, maybe the aircraft evaded the first Sidewinder missile, is what I'm saying. It's a pretty big deal, and pretty frightening. And the media, are they asking what efforts are being taken right now to locate this missing Sidewinder missile? I haven't heard anyone ask about this. I saw this story in the news today. This is insane. Is it sitting on top of the ice? Is it at the bottom of the lake? Is it in Michigan? Is it in Canada? What's the range of a Sidewinder? How far could it have flown before it ran out of fuel and came down on its own? And why am I not hearing about a detonation? This sounds like we've got an undetonated United States Sidewinder missile somewhere in the United States or Canada right now. And no one seems interested in finding out about it except me. Oh my goodness. Now, if we have anyone in the audience who has some knowledge of Sidewinders, I'm curious to hear some information on this, because I mean, I don't know, but I just saw a story over the weekend of some World War II ordnance exploding in the UK that was left behind. This is a very dangerous thing. If this Sidewinder is on the ground or in the lake somewhere, and it were to, and it were to detonate, what's the blast radius? How much damage could a Sidewinder like this do? Where's the breaking news sounder for that on the major media? Pretty scary stuff, people. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. I want to hear your calls on this. Oh, my goodness. If you have any info on Sidewinder missiles, I need to hear from you. And have you heard, did the Sidewinder hit the train in Ohio? How far is the train? I'm serious. How far is the Ohio train from where that F-16 fired off the Sidewinder? And is it within range of the Sidewinder? I don't know. I'm from Ohio, but I have no idea where Palestine, Ohio is. That's not the part of Ohio I'm from. I'm from Columbus. Oh, my goodness. Something's really weird here. All right, let's take that break. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
I mean, my goodness. How far is the train from where they fired the missile? Because, my goodness. Something's going on here. I've never heard of something like this. Oh, I know. It was on fire before it, I know.
That's insane, though, how it got no coverage.
I'm just asking.
I thought that too, though.
Yeah. What's the range of a Sidewinder missile? You guys call me. Oh, my goodness. Crazy.
I didn't think about about a missile missing and where it was like.
It's got to blow up somewhere. Yeah, it's not a dud. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to find what's the blast radius on one of these things.
You see a Chinese account made like a parody video of the planes chasing the weather balloon and missing.
No, I didn't see that one.
So someone made a.
I'll have to look. Text that to me if you see it.
Yeah, I'll find it. I know. I found it somewhere. I'll find it.
Oh my goodness. This is a Trump hat. See, read the back of it. So the people behind me can see. Oh my goodness. Scary.
We are an energy saving and insulation company. Make your home energy efficient, cut your electric bills up to 50%, and pay little or even nothing for the repairs. Make sure you get your fair share of the Inflation Reduction Act. Rebates up to $14,000 per year. Funds available on a first come, first served basis. Rebate programs for low or moderate income families up to $150,000 of income. $14,000 per year. This is huge. You can use this money for insulation and radiant barrier. Up to $2,800 available. Hybrid hot water heaters.
Oh, we're going to get to the Kerry Lake story. Don't you worry. Oh, yeah. Kerry Lake's amazing what she did. No, these are not distractions. There's a lot of crazy things going on. These are not distractions. There's a lot of terrible things going on. It's hard to believe that so many things are going wrong on their own, but we have incompetence running the country. All right, every line on the board is lit. Callers on hold, stand by. I got to tell people about the new MyPillow 2.0. You know, I've been sleeping on my MyPillow 2.0. Well, it'll be a week Wednesday, so tomorrow will be a week. Tonight will be my 6th night. The MyPillow 2.0 will change your life. It's amazing. Mike Lindell did the impossible. He improved on perfection. You know, the MyPillow 2.0, like the MyPillow that started it all, has that patented fill inside, and you can get the MyPillow 2.0 at any fill level you would like. But this has temperature regulating technology in it, so your head never gets hot and you don't have to flip the pillow over. You know, the patented fill inside the MyPillows stop you from tossing and turning your head all night. Every time your head tosses and turns, you wake up, even if you're not aware of it, and you interrupt your REM sleep. It's like having sleep apnea. Well, the same thing is true when you flip the pillow over. Even if you don't remember, you did it, you woke up, you interrupted your REM sleep, and because you wanted that cool side of the pillow. With the MyPillow 2.0, you'll never flip your pillow over again. It will perfectly regulate the temperature of your face and head all night long. It's amazing. The other MyPillows, we've taken off our marital bed and are now guest pillows. They're great pillows too, but man, this MyPillow 2.0 is amazing. It's a life changer. And right now, it's buy one, get one free with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE at MyPillow.com. The MyPillow 2.0, buy one, get one free with our promo code KANE. And by the way, you can get 2 different fill levels. If you want one soft, one full all the way, you can, any fill level you want, you can get one in each. You don't have to get the same fill level. You can also order by phone, toll free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. All right, so if you're just tuning in, the Chinese aircraft that was shot down over Lake Huron over the weekend was shot down by an Air Force F-16 with a Sidewinder missile. And what we're just learning is the first missile missed. And we don't have any information on where this missile is. Did it detonate? Did it land in the lake? Is it floating in the lake? Is it sitting on top of ice in the lake? Did it land in Michigan? Did it land in Canada? Where is this missile? If it landed, what's going on so far as search efforts to recover this missile, this live missile? We're very uncharted territory under the leadership of Brandon. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike. Do you have any information on Sidewinder missiles? This is craziness.
All I know is from what I've seen from the movies when they say, I've got, in terms of shooting things down, I've got tone, meaning I've got radar lock on whatever they're trying to shoot down, right? So if the guy who was flying the jet got the message that he has radar lock on and he fires the missile, then the missile should have hit the target, right?
Well, what I'm wondering is, I'm not calling this a UFO. This is a Chinese aircraft, right? These are Chinese aircraft. The Chinese aircraft, what happened? Did it evade the Sidewinder missile? I heard something about it having antennas on it. Did it have some type of technology that jammed the tracking of our missile? Was it able to evade it? It did have some type of propulsion on it. What happened here? How did a Sidewinder missile from an F-16 United States fighter jet miss this Chinese aircraft over Lake Huron? And one thing I know is it landed somewhere. I didn't hear anything about a detonation. So we've got a live Sidewinder missile somewhere, either in Lake Huron, Michigan, or Canada. The range is about 20 miles or so, 22 miles, I read online, for the Sidewinder. So they got that radius. And have you seen anything in the news about the search teams looking for this lost Sidewinder missile?
I haven't seen anything yet. I mean, I've been following it pretty good, and nothing from Fox, nothing from Newsmax, nothing from any of the legacy media, NBC, CBS, nothing from them, So I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, and what about this pilot? Is the pilot that lost a live Sidewinder missile over U.S. and Canadian airspace, have they been grounded? And I want to know who they are. Are they one of these checkmark people in the military?
Who knows? I mean, that's the deal. And you mentioned Palestine, Ohio, and where exactly it is. I'm looking at Google Maps, and it's telling me, it's an hour and a half from Columbus, and it's an hour and a half from Cincinnati, and it's 3 hours from Cleveland. So, I mean...
Well, everything is an hour and a half from Columbus because Columbus is right in the middle of the state. So that doesn't... I think the train is out of range of the missile, but we still have a live missile that's unaccounted for somewhere in the United States or Canada, and I hope the Pentagon's looking for it before some ice fishermen find it in the lake or some kids find it.
So too, and that's the deal. And as far as some of the other
or ISIS. I don't want ISIS to find it.
Oh no. And who knows how many ISISes are due to the porous border are in the country right now.
Scary stuff. Oh, hey, Mike, take care. Thanks for the call. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Jim in Cincinnati.
Oh, hey, Jim.
I'm under the assumption that they go 30 kilometers. They shoot. It depends on which aim they use. They can shoot for either 20 seconds up to 60 seconds. So it can't go. It probably wouldn't have had the capacity to reach land. It's good.
Well, I don't know about that. Have you heard some accurate detail on where the jet was when it fired?
They aren't even.
You don't know that. We don't know that. We've got an American pilot who did something that has not been done, I don't know, in decades, launching live fire missiles over U.S. airspace. I wouldn't be so sure it landed in the lake. We don't know that. It could have landed in Canada, could have landed in Michigan. It could be in the lake. And I didn't hear anything about a detonation. So is it still intact? Is it live?
Who's going to be able to tell you that until you see the film of the missile fire?
Well, the United States, the Pentagon, the White House, the Pentagon, they should be telling us.
Okay, exactly. But since Biden has taken office, when have you gotten the truth from the White House? You need to see the film.
Well, listen. To see it, you got to ask the questions. I mean, the media should be having breaking news sounders and demanding answers. Where is this Sidewinder missile? And I want to know if this pilot is still flying. Have they been grounded? I mean, this is...
They're not going to punish a pilot because the tracking system. Those missiles track on either optical or heat.
Well, here's the thing. Well, yeah.
It's not going to track a balloon.
Well, who said it was a balloon? They said this was not a balloon. It was an object.
Brian, I'm giving you an example. If he fires a heat-seeking missile, it cannot track a balloon.
But this was not a balloon, and I want to know if this Chinese aircraft either evaded the missile somehow or had some equipment that interfered with the guidance system of the missile.
You're giving a bunch of paper tigers a whole lot of credit. They didn't send up some kind of massive tracking system or massive evasion system that runs 10 miles an hour through the air. It's just not that way, and I hope we find the answers. We deserve to find.
So you're telling me that the United States Air Force cannot go up against slow aircraft? I don't know. Hey, listen, I got to go to the break. But thanks for the call. Okay, we'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
Oh man, I'll be right back, guys. I drank a lot of water this morning, so there's going to be a lot of right backs today. Be right back.
The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope your day's off to a wonderful start. Our high today, 76 degrees with mostly sunny skies, looking so nice. Very dry across South Florida. No chances of rain. I'm WPBS 25 First Morning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Traffic is service of the Palm Kennel Club. They plan down to celebrate Valentine's Day in the Paddock Restaurant. Miss McDonald's Memories at Elvis. You can't help falling in love dinner show February 14th. Then get ready to laugh Friday night, February 17th with the
Exactly.
Nice play on February 24th.
Oh my gosh. As well when you said, like, because the guy's like, oh, it's just something floating there.
Exactly.
It could have been messing with the technology as well.
Well, they said it had antenna on it.
So maybe it did have some sort of jammer.
Exactly. Hold on, guys. I got to move the camera because I'm going to stand up now. I was sitting down. I was resting my feet. I might have to sit down if I can't get the camera right. There we go.
I
Oh, man.
saw that video on Twitter. person on TikTok. It has a Chinese username.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a whole like. It's like from
Oh,
a
you
movie.
texted it to me? I'll look at it in a little bit.
You'll get a kick out of it, but it's also like, really?
Sometimes you miss the target. Not over U.S. airspace, man. They may not have. I could not find an answer to this question, but I don't have time to keep Googling. Maybe somebody in the audience can find out. When is the last time prior to this that live ammunition was fired over U.S. airspace and the U.S. mainland? When was the last time an aircraft fired live ammunition in a combat situation? I think about that. Hawaii and Alaska don't count. That's not mainland, and they were not states in the Second World War. I'm talking about over the lower 48. No, I'm talking about military aircraft. Actually fired it. You know. They don't even fly with live over U.S. airspace, except in very unusual situations. So I'm talking about actually firing from a U.S. aircraft over the lower 48. When is the last time that happened? Does anyone know? I couldn't find the answer to that. But I didn't have much time to look. I was just thinking about it. I don't think so either. I don't even know if that happened during World War II. I don't think it's ever happened. That's my guess too, Freedom Soup, but I haven't had time to research it. I was just thinking about it on my way in this morning. Yeah, but there's a cover-up going on of this missing missile. No, we didn't fire live missiles on 9/11. In fact, I'll say this when we get back. I got to save some of the show for the radio here.
And online at reportercontracting.com.
Excuse me, guys. Sorry. I'm still a little under the weather. Oh, thanks, Rome. There's one opening on the board if you'd like to call in. I'm hungry, too. All right, there is only one opening on our board. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 1-888-465-2631. Let me do a quick recap, and then I'll go to the phones. So the Chinese aircraft, I'm not calling it a UFO. I'm calling it what it is. The Chinese aircraft that was shot down over Lake Huron over the weekend, we are finding out that it was shot down with a Sidewinder missile. But the first Sidewinder missile missed, fired from an F-16. I don't know if it was regular Air Force or National Guard. We're not getting all the information on that yet. But the first Sidewinder missile missed, and we don't know where it went. We don't know if it's sitting on top of the ice in Lake Huron, if it landed in some part that's not frozen. Did it land in Canada? Did it land in Michigan? Did it detonate wherever it landed? And we have no information on if the United States military is involved in a search for this missile. If it ran out of fuel and landed and did not detonate, is there live ordnance on it? And let's hope that Lloyd Austin can get out of his critical race theory course and General Milli Vanilli can leave the workshop on transgenderism and get a team looking for this lost Sidewinder missile before a child finds it. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hey, Richie.
You know, you're 150% right on this one because it's a fact. The fact that
Well, don't sound so surprised that I'm right about something, Richie.
you're usually 100. You're 99.9% right.
Oh, that's good. That's Rush Limbaugh numbers.
High mark.
Yeah.
It's bigger than Rush Limbaugh. Listen, the fact of the matter is, when I was in just for close on Macho, when I was in ICOR in Vietnam, that particular area, and I was there so late. I left there in 1970. There are more kids that are still getting blown up over there from our bombs that didn't go off. I mean, it's the worst area, and kids are getting maimed on a regular basis over there, up in ICOR, Vietnam, Quang Tri province up there. But to make a long story short, you asked a question that you should give a direct answer, but you're never going to because there's no trust within our government whatsoever. Can you trust any of them? Can you trust any of them? I mean,
Well, you know, and I'll tell you, Richie, this pilot, I bet you it's somebody that they checked off a box, you know, the checkmark person. Here's the thing. Now, this just occurred to me when I was driving in this morning, and I just did a quick Google search, so I've not been able to thoroughly research this. But to my knowledge, and I'm talking about the lower 48, Hawaii and Alaska are not the mainland, and they were territories, not states, during World War II. To my knowledge, these Chinese aircraft that are being shot down is the first time U.S. aircraft have used live missiles or live ammunition over U.S. airspace in a combat situation. This is a very big deal. And these aircraft, I remember on 9/11, they scrambled Air Force jets over New York and Washington. A little secret that they didn't let us know at the time, they were unarmed because fighter jets, when they fly over the United States, do not have live ammo. So the only thing they could do was do a kamikaze. They did not have live ammunition, either missiles or bullets, on the planes on 9/11 that were patrolling D.C. and New York. And by the way, it was that way for quite some time. But it's been 20 years. We can talk about it now. So this is frightening. And the idea that we have a lost Sidewinder missile somewhere in Canada, Michigan, or in Lake Huron that I haven't heard about a detonation, Richie, is pretty scary.
absolutely, and you won't get the media because we don't trust them either. You know, Brian, you know, you're right about the Google search. We are being tested by China right now, and we are the guinea pigs of China. They are using all their equipment over our land. Believe this.
Well, Richie, with this I want to stay on the I want to stay on the missile just for now, okay? Because I think this missile story, I think for most everyone listening to my voice heard it for the first time from me. You may have heard it somewhere else, some of you, but most of you did not. And when this object, this Chinese aircraft, let's call it what it is. I know Jean-Pierre, there's that UFOs, aliens. Yeah, all right, check mark, girl. Okay, this Chinese aircraft, they said, that was shot down over Lake Huron was a cylinder device, we don't know what, and it had antenna on it. So I want to know, how did this Sidewinder miss? Did it evade the missile somehow? It had a system of propulsion. It was recorded. Were those antennas some type of jamming device for the targeting system, or is it just an incompetent pilot? We don't know.
I don't think it's. I believe that their radar or whatever they're deflecting, they're not picking it up on our radar systems. That's why they said that we have to make adjustments. These people are so incompetent. It's scary as hell that China can put out whatever they want. They can be sitting right over Boca Raton right now. We do nothing. We do not. Matter of fact, we say we want to talk to them. We still want to talk to them. Instead of warning them, and people are so afraid of war in this country, they pull all our equipment over
Well,
the other
Jeff,
side.
call in, Jeff.
And here they are. We're basically being guinea pig
So what do you think? What do you think happened with the missing missile? What do you think that the pilot?
It probably didn't go off. I can't imagine it going off. It's probably sitting in Lake Huron. One day you're going to see some boater take a boat ride with his family and get blown out of the.
Well, is Lake Huron? Yeah, I know we've got people in Michigan. Is Lake Huron completely frozen over now, or on the surface, or not? I don't know. I don't know. Well, I wouldn't assume it's over the lake. We don't know where this pilot was when he fired. Okay, we're getting very sketch information here. I don't understand why the media don't stop. This is the biggest story since 9/11, that we have a lost Sidewinder missile somewhere in the United States or Canada.
The true story about this is we didn't shoot at the balloon, and this is the reaction you're getting out of the administration that was caught with their pants down, and that's the truth. They're afraid to get criticized. So now the new policy is shoot anything that you see in the air, shoot it down with.
Well, here's the thing, okay? We just got out of a 20-year war. Our military are not just the best trained with the best equipment. They're veterans. Most people in our military, certainly our pilots that they're sending up after these Chinese aircraft, are combat veterans, some of them. They've patrolled combat zones. They've been in combat. And it's hard for me to believe that a pilot just missed. It's possible. They may try to. That just seems unlikely to me on something like this, firing a missile over U.S. soil, which is unheard of. And I'm telling you, I don't think it's happened before. I think this is the first aerial combat that we've had over the United States lower 48. I don't even think we had it in the Second World War.
We haven't been invaded by anybody before. This is what's going on here. People were afraid to go over to our airspace. Now they're not. China's not afraid of us. And we are appeasers. I mean, I can't get over it. And every morning you strike a tooth on me. I'll tell you the truth. It's got me really upset because we are really very vulnerable with this old cocker in the White House. And his vice president is dumber than he is. It's unbelievable.
Well, and Lloyd Austin, the defense secretary, has the mind of a chipmunk. Well, less than that. At least the chipmunk's got some smarts.
How about Tony Blinken, another one? I mean, these people do not belong in their position. So worse, they couldn't run Publix in Boca Raton. How do you like that one? But they're running our country.
Yeah, no, that's true. Have you heard anything about the military, the Air Force, sending out a search team for this lost armed Sidewinder missile?
They'll lie to you. They won't tell you the truth. They haven't told us the truth about anything. Anything.
Oh my gosh.
Any of them, and that's the problem. You don't either. None of us believe these people anymore. They lie to us every day on a regular basis.
All right, Richie, take care. Oh my goodness. All right, our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Very scary news. I'm sorry to start the day with it, but this is a big story, all right? And you're hearing it first right here on the Steve Kane Show. Oh, man. Now, if you miss a portion of the show, by the way, each day about an hour after we go off the air, the entire program is uploaded in a podcast form on our radio station website, trueoldiesfla.com. And you can listen to the show there at trueoldiesfla.com, or you can actually download it on your computer, on your device, whatever you use. And maybe you've called in and you want to hear your call, or maybe you want to save your call and play it to someone or something. It's always there, and the shows are archived up there forever. trueoldiesfla.com. trueoldiesfla.com. All right, let's take our last break of the first hour. We'll be back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Oh, man. Woo! Make sure you guys like the video. If you're new, please subscribe. I mean, this is some bad stuff, guys. I mean, this is not good.
The official mechanic of the Steve Kane Show. Call 561-245-5555 8101. 561-245-8101. And make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show.
Bergman Jewelers, located within the Alton Town Center in Palm Beach Gardens, has been a top buyer.
By the way, the hat I'm wearing, there's a link to the company that sells all these cool hats, not just this one, but a whole bunch of the hats I have. It's daddyheadwear.com, D-A-T-I, and there's a link to their store in the description of the video, and if you use the discount code Brian, B-R-I-A-N, you get a discount. So that's right, so go and check it out. This is a I have a bunch of these hats. Good one. Pretty good. Oh man, I don't know, guys. Is there anyone here that has any knowledge on how Sidewinder missiles operate? Well, thank you, Rome. Well, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, because I don't know.
Jobs Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometrist.
It's amazing.
Keep an eye
Okay,
on
where am I now?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, this is Mike from I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices.
Oh man,
My number is 954
I tell you.
977-9445. I'll give you a price over the phone. New and used tires. Again, my number is 954.
He doesn't know what he doesn't know. That's right, Chuck.
Join us for Moments of Scripture, hosted by Jan Coleman every Sunday morning from 6 to 6:30 a.m. We will read the Bible.
I mean, this is not good stuff. I mean, this is scary. I want to know who this pilot.
Think you might have COVID? Have you
This guy, do you think this pilot should be grounded and taken and tossed out of the service? I think so.
near the Coral Square Mall, open Monday through Saturday. No appointment necessary.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
Oh man, you know, this pilot that missed the Chinese aircraft and we have this missing Sidewinder missile, I want to know who he is. He should be tossed out of the service immediately. He should be discharged, tossed out, maybe even brought up on charges. You know, I remember when the USS Cole got hit, the captain got in all kinds of trouble. Did they court-martial that captain? There was some proceeding. You know, last night, as I was getting ready for bed, I got hungry, and I went to the kitchen. I was going to make myself an egg sandwich on toast, and there were no eggs. And I said to my wife, "Where are the eggs?" And she says, "Well, I didn't buy any eggs." And I said, "Why?" She said, "They're too expensive." They're too expensive. We don't have eggs. It's Biden's America, people. And you know what my wife and I have discovered? You know, it is, for us, it is cheaper to eat out than eat at home. It used to be the opposite. Things are so expensive in the grocery store, it is cheaper to eat out. That's true. And, you know, Anne Marie's in Pompano, oh man, Anne Marie's is spectacular. What my wife and I do, we get takeout, and that's lunch and dinner, and maybe lunch the next day. And, you know, everything at Anne Marie's is homemade with Grandma's recipes. Grandma's right there in the kitchen. Anne Marie's in Pompano is family owned and operated. Yeah, that's right. And they take great pride in their food. And, you know, we all have our favorites. I love the Italian favorites they have over there. I mean, you know, the lasagna, the baked ziti, it's just amazing. The spaghetti and meatball, yeah, it's amazing. The meatballs are homemade. You know, these other restaurants around town, they get their food from BJ's and Costco. You know, I can go to BJ's and Costco and heat it up. You go to Anne Marie's, you're having homemade classic Italian food each and every time. And that goes for their pizzas as well. And that pizza crust they have at Anne Marie's is the best pizza crust I've ever had in my life. And it is cheaper for us to eat out than it is to go grocery shopping today. Go into Anne Marie's. They're located in Pompano. They're open for lunch, dinner, and takeout. They have great lunch specials and huge portions, even on the lunch specials. In fact, Steve and I went over there for the first time. We went there, it was lunch, and I ordered the baked ziti, and they brought me the baked ziti, and I said, is that the lunch portion or the dinner portion? They said, this is it. This is the lunch portion. It's huge. I had it for dinner that night. Yeah, the portions are massive. Anne Marie's is located in Pompano on the northwest corner of US 1 Federal Highway and Copans Road in the same plaza as the movie theater. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. All right, if you're just tuning in, I'm going to go to the phones. One opening at 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. If you're just tuning in, a quick recap. The Chinese aircraft that was shot down over Lake Huron was shot down by a U.S. F-16 with a Sidewinder missile. And what we're just learning this morning is that the first missile missed. The second missile took the aircraft down. The Chinese aircraft was not hit with the first missile. We don't know where that missing missile is. Is it floating in Lake Huron? Is it at the bottom of Lake Huron? Did it land in Canada? Did it land in Michigan? Did it detonate? Is it live somewhere? And are they searching for it? Is the Air Force, the Pentagon, are they searching for the missing Sidewinder? Lots of questions here. And how did it miss? Was it incompetence of the pilot? Or did this Chinese aircraft have some way of evading the missile? Did it have some way of jamming the tracking system? A lot of questions here. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Coconut Creek, thank you. I agree with you 100% on this missile.
Uh-oh. The line went dead. We got a bad cell connection, but I'll maybe the Chinese are interfering with your signal because you've got something to say they don't want out there. I don't know. I can, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, listen, I agree with you 100% about this missile. It's a very, very important story. I don't know, maybe pilot error, but and we may never find out. You know how the media is in this guy.
Well, you know, they said that this Chinese, I'm not calling it a UFO. It's a Chinese aircraft. They said this Chinese aircraft was shaped like a cylinder, so there was some type of something, and it had antenna on it. What were and we just assume that's to transmit back home or something. I don't know, maybe it jammed the radar on the Sidewinder missile. Is that possible?
No, I have no idea. I wish we had some pilots and some experts that were, going to be on the media, but they're not going to.
No.
I knew somebody that had some experience. I'm not a pilot, but there's two things. There's either pilot error or mechanical error.
This was a military combat situation. This was aerial combat, okay? A United States F-16 took down a Chinese aircraft over the United States of America, okay? So this was aerial combat. So, and these guys trained for this all their life. He missed. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it evaded. Maybe it jammed the tracking. Something. Maybe that the Chinese were testing some new jamming situation they have on our missile tracking technology. I don't know. The guidance system may have been interfered with by the aircraft.
I doubt that they have a jamming.
It's possible. I don't know.
It's possible. Sure, it's possible. But I don't. If they do, I don't think they were testing it. It doesn't make sense from the one point that why jeopardize they have that technology just for running a balloon over there that's doing monitoring. Why not use it in a different way?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, whatever the case is, we'll never find out.
Well,
President.
All right. Hey, appreciate the call. I don't agree with that, by the way, that we'll never find out. The Pentagon has daily press conferences. And, you know, now that the war on terror is over, those reporters got kind of a boring job, okay? And I would like to think that some of the Pentagon reporters, I'm sure, you know, they're with these liberal corporate media outlets too, I get it, but I would like to think that these Pentagon reporters will get to the bottom of it. And I'll tell you another thing. Cable news has too many military experts on. I want to hear the military experts on these missiles. And I'm going to be monitoring them to see how they respond. We're in a new area here, okay? We're in a new area. By the way, where is the aircraft they shot down over the lake? Has it been recovered? Lots of questions here, people. All right, our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. Now, after the top of the hour, there's some other big stories that I'm going to start to get into. But as the program goes on, I am going to recap this missile story because I think it's the most important story of the day. It's being downplayed. It's being minimized, and they're making a joke out of these Chinese aircraft over U.S. and Canadian territory. And now that we have this new wrinkle of the missing missile, oh my goodness. Now that we have this missing missile story out there, there's things to worry about. And I'm going to tell you something. Don't just say, well, we're never going to find out, so don't ask the questions. No. Start asking these questions. Go on social media and tag people like Jack Posobiec and others. They'll get to the bottom of it. There's a lot of people out there who have contacts that will ask the questions and get answers. And sometimes, you know, a non-answer is an answer too sometimes. So this story is new. You're probably hearing it here first. Certainly you're hearing it first put in proper perspective as I've been doing in this first hour of today's program. But there are people out there like me who, if they're aware of the story, will start asking these questions. And we got to get to the bottom of it. Now, Dr. Appleton is amazing. He's my chiropractor. He's a great chiropractor, and his laser away pain treatment works. He rid me of my arthritis pain. He rid me of my years of suffering from knee pain. He is absolutely amazing. And you've heard some of our listeners and some of our recorded commercials talk about how Dr. Appleton has changed their life and rid them of pain, as well as family members. Rabbi David's mother rid her of pain. Dr. Appleton did. It's absolutely amazing. Now, as a chiropractor, Dr. Appleton does more than just the laser away pain treatment. If you've been in an accident, an auto accident, a slip or fall type of accident, he can help. You call Dr. Appleton, you've been in an accident, any kind of accident, car, slip and fall. You've been in any kind of accident and you call Dr. Appleton today, he will see you today. And also, he's doing something that I've never seen another doctor do, and it's absolutely amazing. Dr. Appleton is offering free transportation to and from his office. Is that amazing? How many doctors do that? I know, Dr. Appleton does. Free transportation to and from his office. You can find Dr. Appleton online at appletonchyro.com or give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. Give Dr. Appleton a call. Make sure you tell him that you heard about him on the radio, and he's open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. And that same day, and free transportation apply on Saturday as well. 954-973-0710. Now, if you miss the phone number of one of our sponsors when I'm doing the, telling you the message in our commercials here, if you go to stevekaneshow.com, our show's website, and click on the sponsor page, all of our sponsors' contact information is listed on the sponsor page at stevekaneshow.com, all right? And often when I'm on the air and I need the number or website from one of our sponsors and I don't have it at my fingertips or in my memory, I'll go to stevekaneshow.com, click on that sponsor page, and get the info right there. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. There's only one opening on our very busy board, our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to continue on this story when we get back, but I am going to start to get into some news stories because there's other big stories that we've got to cover on the program today. If there's anyone out there who has information on Sidewinder missiles, F-16s, I'd very much like to hear from you as well. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be right back.
WWNN Palm Beach Beach, WIRK.
Crazy people. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope your day's off to a wonderful start. Our high today, 76 degrees with mostly sunny skies, looking so nice. Very dry across South Florida, no chances of rain. I'm WPBS 25 First Warning Meteorologist.
Mike has, unfortunately, Mike caught my cold from last week. So he has my cold from last week. That's why he wasn't here Friday. He's under the weather. Oh, you missed a lot in that. You need to rewind and go and watch. No, he has a bad head cold. He's pretty sick.
Major expressways are accident-free and moving at the speed of this time. To look out for a disabled vehicle on the southbound side of I-95 before Glades Road, blocking the right shoulder. Also on the southbound side of Blue Heron Boulevard, the right shoulder is blocked there.
Jeff says it's at the bottom of the lake. We don't know that. We do not know that. Don't assume that. It could be on land. It could be on land. It could be floating in the lake. I wouldn't assume it's at the bottom of the lake. We don't know where this incompetent pilot was when he fired. Nope. We obviously have an incompetent pilot, so don't be so sure that it's at the bottom of the lake. Where am I? All right. We have what may be the, who said leave the pilot alone? We have what very well may be the first live combat, live ammunition, aerial combat over the mainland lower 48 of the United States. And the guy missed. Tossed out of the service for that. I'm sorry. No excuse for that. Oh, man. All right, coming back after this. I haven't even gotten to Kerry Lake yet. All right, hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show. Oh, man, if you're on hold, stand by. There's only one opening on the board. Oh, man. So a quick recap on the last hour, then I'll start getting into some of the new stuff, and then I'll go to the phones. So what I was talking about in the first hour, a story that you most likely heard here first, the Chinese aircraft that was shot down over Lake Huron by a Sidewinder missile. The pilot of the F-16 missed with the first missile, and we don't know what happened to the first missile. We don't know if it landed in the lake and sunk. We don't know if it landed in Canada. We don't know if it landed in Michigan. We don't know if it detonated on impact. It did miss. We do know this. We don't know if the Air Force, if the Pentagon are searching for the lost Sidewinder missile. Very scary stuff. Tragic shooting in Michigan, just god-awful. It's just terrible what happened at Michigan State University. But this story is going to evaporate from the news right quick because the mass shooter is black. And the only mass killers that they like to promote and make a thing out of are white ones. And because he's black, this story will disappear from the liberal media right quick, unless we get some motivation. And I don't know. We had that Christmas parade massacre in Waukesha. That was racially motivated. We never heard that in the news. And they said that this killer who committed suicide had no connections to the school. What was his motivation? Was it racial? We don't have the identities as of yet of the victims, and I'm curious if his victims were white and was there a racial motive here. Regardless, the story will disappear real quick from the media. It doesn't fit their narrative. All right, one opening at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mike, it's Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Oh, I'm thinking that they used a Sidewinder missile instead of a bullet. I think they probably wanted to make sure when they blew it up, there was nothing left to look at, so they couldn't blame the Chinese for any spy equipment. Because they certainly have bullets on F-16. Two Sidewinder, what are they, about $1 million a piece? So.
400,000 apiece. But I'm not concerned about the 400,000. I'm concerned that we have an undetonated Sidewinder missile somewhere in the United States or Canada, and no one seems concerned to look for it.
So better, because if that blows up on the ground or on the water, whatever it is, it's going to cause some serious damage. A Sidewinder missile takes out a balloon. Isn't that a bit much? I mean,
well, no. This Chinese aircraft was not a balloon. They told us it was shaped like a cylinder. It had a propulsion system and antenna on it. So I'm asking all kinds of questions here. We have no answers. These reporters, they're yucking it up with Jean-Pierre over UFO talk and everything. But here's the deal. It missed somehow. And I don't think it was pilot error. I think there was something in this Chinese aircraft over Lake Huron that it was able to interfere with the guidance system of the missile. And that may be what the Chinese are testing, or maybe it was able to evade somehow when it was fired upon. Who knows?
I'm sure they're well equipped and they'll know what they're doing to make sure that they're not going to get knocked out of the air if it's from China.
You're sure that the Chinese know what they're doing? Yeah, but our guys, do they know what they're doing? Doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, that's the whole problem. And then how dumb do they think the American people are? It could be. It's Star Trek. It's they're coming in. The Enterprise will do a time warp. I mean, give me a break.
What? What are you talking about? A time warp? What are you talking about?
I'm saying they're trying to push that it's an alien craft instead of I'm saying they go to a time warp or that.
Oh my goodness!
Ridiculous. They come up with these stories. I always thought they think the American people.
Well, what happened is so serious. Their strategy is to come up with this joke of a flying saucer UFO story, but it seems to me that Now again, I did some more looking here, and no one's contacted me to my knowledge, to the best of my couple of minutes of Google, because this just occurred to me when I was driving in this morning, and I don't have a lot of time before I go on the air. I've already done my show prep at home, but I've done some reasonable searching on this. To my knowledge, this is the first time a U.S. aircraft has been involved in combat with the aircraft of another nation over U.S. airspace in the mainland lower 48 ever in history. I don't know of another time it's happened, not even on 9/11. And for this to happen for the very first time, and the pilot missed on his very first shot, these guys lived their whole life to take. And our military, see, this is another thing. We were at war on the war on terror for 20 years. That means that our military are not just the best trained and best equipped, they're veterans, hardcore veterans that are trained by hardcore veterans, combat veterans. That's, so we have the best of the best in experience. So I just find it just a little too much to believe that he missed over something that's never happened before. Something's up.
Something seriously wrong. And so if Sidewinder misses the miss, I'm sure the tracking devices shouldn't be missing. But
people are telling me, oh, they miss all the time. Not over U.S. airspace. I don't think, when, like, for example, there was, you may have experienced this. Remember when those fighter jets were scrambled out of Homestead to go to Mar-a-Lago when a plane flew in restricted airspace in Trump's first term, and they flew over going supersonic. They knocked everything down in my garage. It was did you hear that sonic boom where you live? It was, those planes, those fighters out of Homestead were unarmed because they were flying over U.S. airspace. All they could have done was use their jet propulsion to interfere with an aircraft, which, that jet blast can be effective, but they were unarmed. They don't fly when you see fighter jets flying over the United States, when I was a kid, I'd see them fly over low level over Lake Okeechobee all the time. They do not have live ammunition on them over U.S. airspace. If you're at the port, like at Port Everglades, naval vessels, the NATO fleet comes in, U.S. naval vessels come in, they do not have live missiles and ammunition on those ships when they're in a U.S. port like that. So for an aircraft, now again, that's not a military port. I'm not talking, this is like they come in our civilian. But for a U.S. fighter aircraft to be armed over U.S. airspace is unheard of. And to my knowledge, there's never been a live fire aerial combat with a foreign aircraft like this before. Even on 9/11, I was telling you earlier in the first hour, on 9/11, they scrambled Air Force jets over Washington, D.C. and New York City. They were all unarmed. They didn't have bullets and they didn't have missiles. Nobody knew it, but they were completely unarmed. No.
I mean, that's not a very good strategy, man. Like, if you have to scramble quickly.
Well, it was a surprise. It was a surprise attack. And hey, listen, the government, the military is government, and the government's you know what I mean. So there's a little bit of that going on too. But no, there's something going on here with this F-16 and the missing missile. All right, Doug, take care. Now, I'm going to take our first break of the second hour and get into some of the other stories because there's some other big ones we got to talk about. But the phones are still open on the missing missile, and I will recap this story as the show goes on. I want to hear your thoughts on it at 1-888-GO-CANE1. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
All right. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Florida, wings plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious. Crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler.
I'm Cookie Serratos and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, it's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze fruit-on-the-go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no
They told me that the peacocks live in this tree over here, and they come down in the morning, but I think I missed it. I was looking to see. I'll make a YouTube tour of the radio station one morning, and I'll show you the peacocks. There's like 4 peacocks that live in our parking lot. They're massive, and they tell me they live in this tree over here.
Stand out above the rest, and to get top dollar. That's where licensed real estate agent Elena Castro comes in. She's with Ballesteri Real Estate.
But I'm watching the tree, and I haven't seen them come down. I must have missed it. They're massive.
Landlords and tenants for over 18 years. Elena Castro knows Florida.
I don't know anything about peacocks. I didn't know they lived out in the nature here in Florida. 22 miles is what I looked up online is the range.
So you accept the offer you want, and if you're looking to buy, she can help you with that too. Give Elena Castro a call right now. 954.
Make sure you guys like the video. I don't know. Whatever's in our parking lot, apparently.
Get your house listed and sold for the price you want. 954-478-5015. 954-478-5015.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with...
All right, welcome back. I just got a text message. Steve's still under the weather. He's going to try to join us today. We need a proof of life to the audience, Steve. People are thinking that I did something and left you behind on one of the islands on our cruise. So Steve will check in with us today to at least give a proof of life to the audience. If you're on hold, stand by. One opening on our board at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I want to talk about Forever Youth. Forever Youth is an expansion of Any Lab Test Now of Boca. And Any Lab Test Now of Boca has been with us for several years here on the Steve Kane Show. It's where I go for all of my lab testing. My wife and daughter go there too. In fact, my daughter's coming home in a couple weeks from California, and one of the things she's doing is going to Any Lab Test Now of Boca for some tests for her doctor. And Forever Youth have incredible specials running for the entire month of February. They're their Valentine's Day specials, but they're allowing them to go for the entire month of February for Steve Kane listeners. And here's the specials. This is amazing. 20% off Botox. 20% off their fillers. They have all those fillers, Botox, Juvederm. 20% off. IV therapy, which is amazing. I've had this for dehydration. Buy one, get one free. Laser hair removal, 50% off laser hair removal. Now, the Cool Sculpting Elite, which I've been talking to you guys about, this is amazing. It's a non-invasive procedure. It's FDA approved, and it does everything liposuction does without that invasive surgical procedure. Wherever you have fat, it will rid you of fat. Stomach, love handles, back of your arms, your neck, your back, the back of your neck, your back, your legs, wherever you've got fat, it works. And then after it rids you of fat, it sculpts that part of the body so that it has the appearance you want it to have. 50% off Cool Sculpting Elite for radio listeners for the month of February. And this is the shortest month of the year, guys. So call and take advantage. 50% off Cool Sculpting Elite. You can find them online at foreveryouthboca.com. foreveryouthboca.com, or give them a call, 561-717-8081. 561-717-8081. And that's 561-717-8081. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. All right, let's go to the phones. Shocking revelations today on the program. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, we're getting Google Maps, I see. Good morning. Did you find your way? All right. Once, twice. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Oh, we're getting a run of good ones. Once, twice. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Sean from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Fort Lauderdale. What's up?
Not much. I don't want to take up too much of your time, sir. I'm starstruck every time I call. You're so awesome. But I have some questions about this balloon thing. Why an F-16 and not an F-22 if it's on American soil? Like, would you want to get that thing done and out of the way immediately? And the other thing is, if China's doing this, and I would hate for me to be right on this, but you send 100 balloons, and it only takes one to have the bad stuff in it. But we get so...
Well, okay, but this Chinese aircraft shot down over Lake Huron was not a balloon. They said it was shaped like a cylinder. It had propulsion on it. And now that we know that it somehow evaded being hit by a U.S. Sidewinder missile, that perhaps it's a combat drone that has some type of evasive technology or some type of jamming technology. I don't know. So this was very well may have been a combat drone that the Red Chinese sent over here.
To me, that's like, then now we should be sending like the F-22, the bad boy out there to actually handle it instead of like now, like I said, it's taking this like not as serious as it should have been because, like you said before, this is another country.
Yeah, I mean, isn't an F-16 like an old plane? I mean, how old are these F-16? You make a good point. The F-22 is the latest. Why are they sending up these antique aircraft?
Like, send up a crop duster if you're gonna, and you probably actually would have gotten it on the first shot.
Maybe they could send up a biplane next time. Get a little guy with a little machine gun in the front. Oh my goodness. Well, now this. Listen, I'm going to tell you. This is what's going on here. It's like in Star Wars, and they took the X-wings and Y-wings against the Death Star, and the Death Star couldn't fight it. Maybe they have developed some type of aircraft that are a little slower and everything else, but have the ability to overwhelm our more advanced weapon systems and aircraft, is what I'm telling you. Maybe, you understand what I mean? There's something afoot here. There's something in play here. I don't believe that the first time in history that there was aerial combat by a U.S. fighter jet over the United States lower 48 mainland that the guy missed on the first shot. I just find that almost impossible to be the case.
That's why it's like, they keep sending it. They send another one that's a little bit more advanced. They keep sending it until they say, you know what, now we can send the payload and let's do what we got to do.
Well, if they have some type of, if this Chinese aircraft had some type of jamming on the missile technology, on the guidance system, they know it works now because it deflected the first one.
That's why I was like, that's what paranoid. Maybe I'm just paranoid, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it's like a kid, let me test this out. Let's see how it happens, and then say, oh, I got away with it. Let me see what else I could do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to take any more of your time, sir. I appreciate everything you do, and you're awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. This guy's got a very, very good taste in radio, I must say. All right, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Oh, boy. Hey, Mike in Pennsylvania. What's up, Mike?
Hey, fighters carry 2 air-to-air missiles.
Okay. And? That's all you got?
No. A Sidewinder is a heat seeker.
Uh-huh. Well, the first Sidewinder missed and the second one hit. So where...
Heat-seeking missile. The Sparrow is a radar-guided.
Well, both missiles used by the F-16 were Sidewinders, it's been reported. So...
That's a short-range heat seeker.
22 miles is the maximum range I read on Wikipedia, however accurate that is. I like how they have all the classified info on our weapon systems on Wikipedia. Isn't that nice? But where is the missile that missed? Where is the missile that missed? Any ideas where it could be? Canada, Michigan, the lake, where? All right. Pennsylvania, not much to say, but that's okay. You bring up some interesting information. All right, our number one, 888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. We've got a missing missile. It's either in Canada, Michigan, or Lake Huron. We don't know. No one's reporting on this. We don't know what happened to the missile. We don't know if it detonated. We don't know anything about the pilot. You know, at the Super Bowl, they were making a big deal about this all-female flyover team of naval aviators. Yeah, women flying planes now. Can you believe? What do you think, it's the 50s? I want to know if we've got one of those checkmark individuals that flew this aircraft and missed. Oh, boy. Now, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. We'll take some more calls when we get back. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year, The Steve Kane Show. That's amazing, 46 years. I've not been with the show all 46 years, but I've been with it for most of that time. As scary as that is. I know, isn't that something? Oh, my goodness, yeah. Oh, boy. Well, listen, when we get back, we'll continue on this, and there are some other big stories. We're halfway through the show, and I haven't even gotten to the other big stories in the news, which I will start sprinkling in. Kerry Lake has done something amazing. She's turning the world upside down, Kerry Lake. We'll get to that and a whole bunch more. It's The Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be back right after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Ugh. Hey, it's Brian. I gave you a call because I was just getting ready to do your spot, so I thought maybe you had something you wanted me to add. Hey, John, what's up? Yeah, no, I called, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, I'll have Lori call you about that. Well, I could. Yeah, let me talk to Steve about that and think on that, and we'll get back to you on it. I got a couple ideas, but I want to talk to him about it first and see if he agrees. And I'll have Lori call about the other thing. She handles that stuff. Ooh. Oh, that's a good idea. That's great. Okay, that'll be good. All right, well, so we'll be in touch on all that stuff tomorrow or the next day. Appreciate it, John. Take care. Bye. One of our sponsors texted me, so he gave me a couple things to add to the commercial. I had to talk in code because you guys were watching. The truth is out there.
Family-owned Italian restaurant, Anne-Marie's Pizza and Wine Company, located on the corner of Copitz Road and Federal Highway. That's Copitz Road and Federal Highway, right next to the movie theater. Anne-Marie, we'll see you here.
Scott here from CutMyKilowatts.com. We are an energy saving and insulation company. Make your home energy efficient, cut your electric bills up to 50%, and pay little or even nothing for the repairs. Make sure you get your fair share of the Inflation Reduction Act. Rebates up to $14,000 per year. Funds available on a first-come, first-served basis. Rebate programs for
Oh boy.
income families up to $150,000 of income. $14,000 per year. This is huge. You can use this money for insulation and radiant barriers. Up to $2,800 available.
You know, I brought my Trumpy Bear today, and my hands were full and left Trumpy Bear in the back seat of my car. I'll try to remember to bring Trumpy Bear in tomorrow. I love Trumpy Bear.
If you qualify. To find out how much you qualify for, call me 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. Or go to cutmykilowatts.com and fill out the form.
Hi, it's Kate from Will Floor You. I have some exciting news. Come to Will Floor You and get the white glove treatment on all Cortec luxury vinyl floors. Only at
Yeah, this is a good hat. The company that I got this hat from, and a whole bunch of my hats, is linked in the description of the video. And there's a discount if you use my name, Brian, B-R-I-A-N. I don't know how much the savings is. I forgot offhand. I'm pretty sure I know, but I don't want to say and be wrong, but it's a pretty good discount. The link is in the description. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll go get Trumpy Bear at, well, the bottom of the hour break. I don't have enough time during any of the breaks to go out to the car. Trumpy Bear? No, Trumpy Bear doesn't talk.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast. I need Indeed. Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates.
Maybe at 8:30 I can run down to the car. I don't know.
Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show, celebrating 45 years on...
All right, we are back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We've covered a lot today. Oh, man. During the break, I was talking to John from Lighthouse Medical in Pompano. You know, Lighthouse Medical in Pompano, they're amazing. Lighthouse Medical Center not only has a treatment for neuropathy, they have a treatment that works. I know it works because I've seen it work miracles in Steve and talked to many of our listeners who have had incredible experiences having their neuropathy symptoms just disappear with the treatment that they have at Lighthouse Medical Center. And, you know, before I tell you a little bit more about it, Lighthouse Medical Center has been in practice in Pompano. This is their 51st year. Think about that, 51st year, with the same family. That's very important. This isn't a medical practice that's been bought and sold a whole bunch of times and they kept the name. It's the same family for 51 years. I believe they're probably the longest practicing medical practice in Broward County. That's absolutely amazing. Now, neuropathy, you guys know, is torture. You know, Steve was suffering, and he went to all the doctors, including a neurologist, an expert, a specialist, and they said, "Nah, that's your life now. Go home and suffer. Get used to it. The rest of your life is this." And then we found Lighthouse Medical, and Steve went through their treatment, and his neuropathy symptoms, gone. It's absolutely amazing. The numbness, the pain, the burning, the tingling in the hands and feet, muscle weakness, dizziness, the feeling of pins and needles in the hands and feet, all gone, thanks to Lighthouse Medical Center and their neuropathy treatment. It's a no-charge consultation if you tell them you heard about them on the radio. So give them a call, 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. Online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio so you can take advantage of that no-charge consultation and say bye-bye to your neuropathy, all right? Okay, guys. So I'll recap the missing missile later, but there are other stories. Kerry Lake has just caused a meltdown of the wokesters, the media, and the liberals. She went to the Super Bowl, and she had the nerve to not stand during the Black National Anthem, and they're having meltdowns over this. They really, truly are. And this Black National Anthem, is it Lift Every Voice? I don't know the words. I was under the understanding that the United States had one national anthem, but now apparently we have two. And it's okay for people to take a knee during our great national anthem, our Star-Spangled Banner, that is just an amazing song about the Battle of Baltimore. And have any of you gone to see the flag, the Star-Spangled Banner flag that's on display at the Smithsonian? It's amazing. Our flag was still there. They can take a knee to that. The liberals can burn that flag. They can turn their back when the anthem is sung. They can do all that stuff. But Kerry Lake has not stood for the Black National Anthem, and they're having meltdowns over it. And, yeah, I know. How dare she? How dare she? Oh, my goodness. Oh, I got to double check that. I got a text message. I got to double check. So let me read this story. This is in Yahoo News. Kerry Lake is facing backlash for sitting through a popular civil rights hymn at the Super Bowl. Before Sunday's Super Bowl liftoff, actor Cheryl Lee Ralph. Actor? Are ladies actors? Did they take the gender out of actors? Isn't she an actress? They don't have actresses anymore? They have all women are now actors? Stupid. All right. This is obviously a liberal story. Before Sunday's Super Bowl liftoff, actor Cheryl Lee Ralph performed Lift Every Voice and Sing, a song that has been part of the NFL since the 2020 Black Lives Matter protest and considered to be the Black National Anthem. Now, I'll tell you this Black National Anthem and our real national anthem, it's not the right thing to do. Because what the Black National Anthem is telling us is that there's two Americas, right? There's white America and black America. It's divisive. That's not Martin Luther King's dream of a colorblind society, and it's a terrible thing. And there are not two national anthems. I love the Star-Spangled Banner. I love the story from Francis Scott Key of the Battle of Baltimore and all of that, and it's a beautiful story. But, a lot of people want to change our national anthem, but I don't think people think too much about what it's about, but, that's what the national anthem is, not the Black National Anthem. Back to this. Photos on social media show Kerry Lake sitting through the Black National Anthem. Twitter users are criticizing her. The backlash came during a Super Bowl contest that saw the Philadelphia Eagles win against the Kansas City Chiefs at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. As photos of Ms. Lake went viral on social media, one user said she was a pseudo-patriot. Another person on Twitter wrote, "Every day, Kerry Lake shows how horrible and hateful she is." Oh, yes. Well, the Super Bowl, okay, so she did respond, Kerry Lake. She said this: "I'm against a Black National Anthem for the same reason I'm against a white national anthem, a gay national anthem, a straight national anthem, a Jewish national anthem, a Christian national anthem, and so on," Lake said to Fox News yesterday. Kerry Lake went on to say, "We are one nation under God. Francis Scott Key's words ring true for every single American citizen, regardless of their skin color. James Weldon Johnson's Lift Your Voice is a beautiful song, but it is not our national anthem." Now, you know what I'm wondering? I wouldn't have stood for the Black National Anthem either. The only thing that would have got me to stand up is maybe I couldn't see because people in front of me stood up and my vision was blocked. But one thing I'm curious about, and you see the photograph of Kerry Lake sitting down during it, I'm wondering if she purposely did that or she just sat there, because why would you get up and stand during this other song? You stand during our national anthem, you would take your hat off, put it over your heart. That's certainly true. She may have just been sitting there and didn't realize you got to stand up. But regardless of what really happened, if it was a sit-down protest, if it's okay to sit down and take a knee and discriminate when our true national anthem is played, why can't you not protest this national anthem? Well, that's because the tolerant left are so tolerant, they do not tolerate anyone who disagrees with them, and you must step in line like lockstep, or you're an evil person. And I got a lot of respect for Kerry Lake. I love Kerry Lake. I think she sat down on purpose. I don't think she realized it would go viral, but I think she sat down on purpose. And I like that she has stood firm on this. You guys, I think most people forget what it was like for Republicans before President Trump came down the escalator. Before the era of Trump, all right, if something like this happened, if there was a Republican who disrespected the Black National Anthem and didn't stand, their first reaction would be to apologize. They would apologize. And they would release a statement of apology. This is how it used to work. It wouldn't be accepted. It would start more debate. Because, the left, when you apologize, they don't take it as an apology. They take it as a confession. So they would want more. So she sat for the Black National Anthem on Sunday. The Republican would release the apology statement on Monday. On Tuesday, that wouldn't be acceptable. By Wednesday, they would be calling for them to come out and set the record straight and do an interview. By Thursday, the Republican would meet with civil rights and faith leaders, right? All the famous, the Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Benjamin Crump types. And then by Friday, they would come out and have a press conference with the faith leaders, beg for forgiveness, apologize for not understanding the significance of the Black National Anthem, beg for forgiveness, and if they held office, resign from it. That's how it used to be until President Trump came down the escalator. And since then, we have Republicans that stand up for what is right. And having a national anthem that people are expected to stand for an ethnicity. We're all one race, the human race. All right? There's different ethnicities inside the human race. We are not a different race of people. We are all part of the human race. But to say that there is a song for one ethnic group in this country that you are required to stand for, that this is a separate anthem, that is what the Democrats have always done. Racial division and segregation. The Democrats, it's really a sad thing. The great civil rights leaders like the great Martin Luther King and John Lewis, before they got to him, John Lewis was a freedom rider and was a great man in his youth. They wanted to end segregation. Martin Luther King, the freedom riders, John Lewis went to those Democrat-run bus stations that did not allow blacks and went in there and sat down, and they were attacked and had their heads bashed in. Blacks went into those restaurants and sat down at those Democrat lunch counters where they said blacks can't sit, and they ordered food and they got their heads bashed in. Black civil rights leaders, at great risk, some lost their lives, ended segregation that the Democrats had against blacks in this country. They ended segregation. And now what do we have? Blacks, still Democrats, are trying to bring back segregation. And that's wrong. And there is not a black national anthem, and you should not stand for it. You stand for the Star-Spangled Banner, the true national anthem. All right? I think Lee Greenwood's song, I'm Proud to Be an American, would be a great national anthem, by the way. But our national anthem is a great song. It tells a great story about our great flag, the Star-Spangled Banner, and that's it. And I know they like to say, well, but if you read the fifth stanza, it's about slave. The fifth stanza, I don't even know if that, what that's about, but it's not part of the song, okay? The part of the song that's not in the song is race. I don't know what they're talking about. But no one should stand for the Black National Anthem. It's about racial division and racial segregation. We're in a post-racial society. Do not let these Democrats bring segregation back. And I stand with Kerry Lake, who says no to stand. You know, there's only one song you stand to, and that's the Star-Spangled Banner. I'm sorry. That's it. There are no other national anthems. Oh, boy, I tell you, these people, they're out of their minds. All right, our number's toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening to us. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious. Crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade. Nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Central River.
We take on that social justice warrior first. Now, the Steve Kane Show.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Steve, are you with us? Good, because people have been asking about you, and I said we got to get Steve on the air to get proof of life that I didn't leave him behind in the Virgin Islands or something. Yeah, people thought that I did something to you. Now, I want to make a correction on something I said earlier. I just got a text message from John at Lighthouse Medical Center, and I was incorrect about something. I said that Lighthouse Medical Center is celebrating their 51st year this year. I misspoke. It's their 71st year, 71 years, and, well, I'm 51. That's where I got the 51 from. And I'm just thinking about my age, so I'm kind of stuck on my age, because another birthday's coming up, in a couple months. But yes, 71 years. And by the way, I want to point out with Lighthouse Medical Center, 71 years with the same family. Because I don't want people to think it's a medical practice that's been sold a dozen times and they kept the name. It's the same family. 71 years. Oh, yeah, founding family of Broward. And all right, well, lots happening, lots of craziness going on, and I just, let me bring up to you what I was talking about in the first hour. And the Black National Anthem, there's bigger fish to fry than that. But if anyone has any thoughts on the Black National Anthem, you're welcome to call.
Yeah, the word. I'm not that familiar with it. I'd love to hear the words.
Well, it's kind of like the Beatles when you play the record backwards. If you play the Black National Anthem backwards, that it says some things that I can't say on the air. I'll tell you off the air. If you play it backwards, what does the Black National Anthem say? Remember what did it say when you what Beatles song did you play backwards that said Paul is dead? What Beatles song was that? Does anyone remember? I know somebody around here. I bet you Scott Shannon knows. I bet you Scott Shannon knows. But if you play the Black National Anthem backwards, what does it say? That's the real story. And I know what it says, but I can't say it on the radio. That's true. No, it's true. I can't say it. No, but there's bigger fish to fry, and we've got a lot of problems going on in this country, yeah, well, I'll just talk about one right now. Then after the top of the hour, I'll get into some new stuff that I have not touched on the program today. But this story of the Chinese aircraft shot down over Lake Huron is very frightening. Okay, so the Chinese aircraft that was shot down over Lake Huron was not a balloon. They told us it was not a balloon. They were specific about that. They said that it was shaped like a cylinder, and it had antenna on it. And there were some stories that said that it had a method of propulsion on it. It was smaller than the balloon. They said the balloon was the size of a school bus, but this one's smaller, but they didn't say how small. Not a lot of information. But the new information we got is frightening. They shot down the Chinese aircraft over Lake Huron with a Sidewinder missile. But what just came out early this morning is that it was the second missile fired that shot it down. The first missile missed. It was fired from a U.S. Air Force F-16. We don't know. We have no information on where the missing missile is. Did it? I don't know. No one said that. Is it in the lake? Is it floating in the lake? Did it sink in the lake? Did it fly off and land in Canada? Did it land in Michigan? We don't know. Did it detonate when it on impact? At some point, it runs out of fuel. These Sidewinders have a 22-mile range, so we don't know how far out into the lake it was. I didn't hear anything about a detonation in the lake or on the ground. Where is the team from the Air Force searching for this missing missile? If it didn't detonate, is it dangerous? If some kids find it, if some fishermen find it out on the lake, could it explode? I mean, this is insane. And no one in the news is talking about this missing live armed missile that missed. Also, we have no information on the pilot. Now, based on my limited research, okay, because this just was breaking. Yeah.
I'm not aware that any of these UFOs that have been shot down had pilots. They're all kind of like operated by remote control.
Well, we don't know. The Chinese aircraft shot down over Lake Huron. We don't know. It could have been a combat drone. It could have been a Chinaman inside. I doubt it, but it could have been a combat drone. So we have no one even asking questions. Why did the first Sidewinder missile miss? Was it incompetence of the pilot? Did this Chinese aircraft somehow evade being hit with the propulsion system? It had antenna on it, they said. It had multiple antennas on it. I assume that was communication with China, but did it somehow have some technology on it that interfered with the guidance system of the missile? Did it, there's a lot of questions here, but the main question is, where is this missing live missile?
I see it a little bit different than you do. The same but different than you do. There's obviously, I think the key question is this. Why did we not see Joe Biden during the entire episode? Why did the president not come? That's what everybody was complaining about, and rightfully so. It was a time of national emergency. People were hysterical. Nobody knew what was going on. They wanted to feel the presence of their president to reassure them, and Joe couldn't even make one of his half-hearted attempts to address the public.
Well, because first off, it's not that he's not capable. They could give him whatever they give him to come out, but these are tough questions he'd be facing. Okay, well, right now, I mean, there's many problems. Okay, we're being invaded by land from our southern border, and we're being invaded by the air on our northern border. And what I was talking about earlier, Steve, this shoot down over Lake Huron, to my knowledge, is the first time over the mainland United States a U.S. military aircraft has been engaged in armed combat with another aircraft from a foreign nation. First time it's ever happened. It's a big deal. And the missing missile is huge. I just hope that it sunk to the bottom of the lake and they'll recover it, and it didn't land in Canada or in Michigan or is floating in the lake and some civilian finds it and it explodes, because I didn't hear anything about a detonation. So that's one thing. Biden doesn't want questions on that. With the balloon that they shot down, the first Chinese aircraft that they allowed fly over the United States shot down, they have said that Biden gave an order to the military to shoot it down on Wednesday, and they didn't shoot it down until Saturday. So the question is on that, did the military disobey an order of the commander-in-chief? There's all kinds of questions he doesn't want to answer.
Because he doesn't have answers, he doesn't know what's going on, and
well, I've got all the questions.
He has been deteriorating rapidly.
That's not why he hasn't had a press conference on this. These questions I'm asking will be thrown at him and anyone who has a decent press conference. I think the missing missile, which is just coming out now, I think most people heard it here first. I think that question will start to be asked today in the Pentagon briefing, and hopefully Peter Doocy will ask it to Jean-Pierre at least and get a ridiculous non-answer from her. Now, I got to tell you guys, I was talking about this earlier. Last night before bed, I got hungry. And I said, I'm going to go in the kitchen, make an egg sandwich. We didn't have any eggs. We didn't have any eggs. I said, why don't we have eggs? And she said, well, I didn't buy eggs this week. It's too expensive. Eggs are too expensive. They're like $7 a dozen or something crazy. I was like, what? And what my wife and I have discovered, and maybe some of you have discovered this too, with the high food prices, for us, it's cheaper to eat out than to go grocery shopping. And Anne Marie's in Pompano, and this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. We're getting takeout. And, I've got my Italian favorites. I love the baked ziti. Everything at Anne Marie's is homemade with Grandma's recipes right there. So I'm going to get some takeout of my favorites, lasagna, the baked ziti. I'm going to get the Sicilian pizza. We'll have it for lunch and dinner and maybe lunch the next day. And it is cheaper to eat out than cook with these high food prices at the grocery stores these days. Anne Marie's, they're open for lunch, dinner, and takeout. They have incredible lunch specials with huge portions as well. And I'm serious about this. It is cheaper to eat out than eat at home with these Biden grocery store prices. Anne Marie's is located in Pompano on the northwest corner of US 1 Federal Highway and Copans Road. in the same plaza as the movie theater. When you stop in, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. We'll be back with the third hour after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rose.
You guys, I mean, this is frightening stuff. We don't know where that missile is. Or who's looking for it, by the way. That's another thing we don't know. Oh, boy. Oh my gosh, this thing I have after the break is great. This is great. I tell you. Make sure you guys subscribe and like the video. And if you think you're subscribed, check and make sure you are. Okay, if you don't mind. And please like the video. I don't know, how big is a Sidewinder missile? Oh boy, I've been watching to look for the peacocks coming down the tree, but I guess I missed them. I have to look earlier tomorrow. They told me they come down from that tree when the sun comes up, and I looked a little bit too late today. Now the train's a little too far. Do you think, tell me yes or no, do you think that the pilot just missed? Yes or no? No would mean that the Chinese aircraft somehow avoided getting hit by the first missile through some type of tech or evasive maneuver. Oh, yes. You don't think the pilot missed? No. Oh, you think the pilot missed, Susan? Just missed, just an accident. First combat in the air in the United States history, and he missed with his first shot? It was not a balloon. It was not a balloon. A lot of people just want to show off that they know something about missiles that they copied and pasted out of Wikipedia or some article as opposed to giving a real opinion. My feelings weren't hurt. I don't know what would have hurt my feelings, and I certainly didn't punish anyone. Well, that's something we should know too. If it was a woke pilot who was unqualified like John McCain. Don't you think we should know who was the first American pilot to be involved in aerial combat over the United States mainland? I think so. Oh, boy. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show, hold on. Can they use it? Oh. Coming back in 20 seconds. All right, we are back, and we've got Steve here giving us proof of life today that I didn't leave him behind in Tortola. One opening on the board, by the way, at 1-888-GO-CANE-1, so stand by. Just want to say one last thing on before we go to the phones about the missing armed missile somewhere in America, Canada, or, you know, if we're lucky at the bottom of Lake Huron. But, you know, at the Super Bowl on Sunday, did you see the story, Steve, about the flyover with the Navy flyover of the jets? Well, they made a big deal that all of the women flying the planes over the Super Bowl were women. You know, women can fly planes now. It's the 50s. It's a shock. Isn't it amazing? I can't believe where are their husbands letting them do? Well, it seems to me that the Pentagon are so worried and concerned about check marks. I want to know who this pilot was that missed and let an armed Sidewinder missile land somewhere in the United States or Canada. By the way, even if it's in the lake, that lake is in the United States and Canada too. I want to know if he's one of these checkmark individuals like these lady pilots at the Super Bowl that they're so proud of.
Step back and you look at the whole weekend and that whole fiasco, it made you realize, I'll talk about me, I mean, it made me realize how totally inept this administration really is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they have no clue what's going on. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. They're confused, they're muddled, they can't agree on anything. And there's no one. It's a ship without a.
Yeah, but Steve, they have brought transgenderism and into the military. So let's applaud them for that.
You can't have faith in any of our institutions in that.
No, we have a military of clingers now from MASH, and we're celebrating those. Yeah.
Very well.
All right, let's take some calls before I get into some new stuff, because there is more. I picked up something on MSNBC yesterday that I think, oh boy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Helen from Kansas.
Hey, Helen.
Hey, Helen.
Hi, Steve. I'm alive.
There, yes, he's alive. Did I tell you, Steve?
Alive.
They thought, yeah, this is not Weekend at Bernie's, okay?
This black national anthem sounds like the most racist thing, discriminating, divisive thing. What the heck? Well, what about all of the other races? You know?
Well, there's only one race. It's the human race, and there's different ethnicities inside of it. But well, this is what it is. Okay, Democrats, they do one thing and one thing only: divide, divide, divide. And the Black National Anthem splits people, divides people. So that's why they're doing it.
Oh, and God says not to be a respecter of persons, that it's a sin to be a respecter of persons. Now, God is a respecter of works, but he's not a respecter of persons.
Listen, Democrats used to enslave black people. Democrats took Americans of Japanese descent and put them in internment camps. Democrats used to lynch black people, okay? These are people of low moral character, Democrats.
Still being enslaved by high taxes. God says not to be a borrower from other nations because you're a slave to the lender.
That's true. All right, Helen's right on the money. I like how she's getting a little more clever with the Bible verses now and incorporating them into modern discussion on the program. All right, our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's our number, 888-465-2631. So MSNBC, they have this girl on MSNBC named, she's a woman, Stephanie Ruhle. Stephanie Ruhle, she never met a Republican. She didn't hate unless they were trashing Trump. And she was very upset that Fox News Channel gave negative analysis, in her opinion, to Biden's State of the Union. And she brought on, let me pull this up. I lost my spot in this article. She brought in a woman named Juliette Jeske. And she is introduced as a professional Fox News analyst. She's an analyst of Fox News. She's a professional analyst of Fox News Channel and their viewers. And apparently she has a podcast all about analyzing Fox News and Fox News watchers. And Stephanie Ruhle brought her on MSNBC to talk about what she describes the cult of Fox News viewers. Listen to this. This is MSNBC yesterday, Stephanie Ruhle with this analyst of Fox News.
What concerns you the most? How little a Fox viewer gets of the news, of the actual news. They don't cover anything to do with climate change. Like if there's a climate change disaster, say Pakistan had massive flooding for months.
You know, when I watch the weather, I watch my local weather. I don't watch the weather in Pakistan. I guess liberals want to hear today's weather. I want to know what the weather is here in South Florida.
Of the news, of the actual news. They don't cover anything to do with climate change. Like if there's a climate change disaster, say Pakistan had massive flooding for months, never talked about it, never mentioned it. New Zealand had massive floods just last week. They never talked about it. They leave that out completely. They don't basically give them any bad news that would make a Republican look bad or make Trump look bad. So they just get this very kind of specific border crisis, inflation, they're coming to take your guns, just repeated on a loop.
The work that you're doing is obviously interesting to someone like me and my audience.
Analyzing the Fox News audience, right? That's what she does.
That Fox News audience, that right-wing audience, is that who you're trying to get to?
I'm trying to get to the friends, families, coworkers, and colleagues of people who are already deeply entrenched in...
Okay, so what she's doing is she's trying to get Fox News viewers, family members, friends, and coworkers to do interventions, like they're drug addicts or something, like they're hooked on drugs, to get them out of this cult, you know, like you're at Jim Jones's compound in Guyana.
Doing is obviously interesting to someone like me and my audience, but that Fox News audience, that right-wing audience, is that who you're trying to get to?
I'm trying to get to the friends, families, coworkers, and colleagues of people who are already deeply entrenched in Fox. Number one, to prevent them from getting sucked in, to help them navigate dealing with somebody who's kind of in that cult mentality, because I would call it a cult, and to help them sort of figure out why their relatives and loved ones are saying these things. And deprogramming someone or de-radicalizing them is a very difficult and long situation to go through. It's slow, it's very, very hard. But one way that you can do it is if you know that your friend is being completely manipulated and lied to, that is one step to breaking through to them.
There you go. That's the first step. If you're watching conservative news, you know, you're in a cult, and if your friends, family, and coworkers can make you accept that you're in a cult, that's the first step towards, I don't know, being free of the cult. Oh my goodness. Those were just a couple clips. That was a full segment. I just took 2 clips of it. They did this whole entire segment on this about deprogramming Fox News watchers. All right, we're going to take our break and be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show.
Oh, that's right. And it's time to check in with attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. And, of course, your workshop is right around the corner, Barry. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, Brian?
Good. Steve's back with us today, so he's doing better.
Hey, Steve. Happy Valentine's Day to you guys.
Oh, thank you.
You too. Back at you.
Thank you. We're looking forward to our upcoming seminar on the 21st, right here in our brand new office in Boca Raton. That's going to be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But what I really wanted to talk about today is I wanted to wish not just you guys, of course, but everybody out there in the audience a happy Valentine's Day. And, you know, when it comes to Valentine's Day, you know, we think of things like roses and chocolates and diamonds, and they say diamonds are a girl's best friend. But really, if you think about it, peace of mind and security are also everyone's best friend. And that's what you get when you do your estate planning, to make sure that you protect yourself and the people you love. And that's what we offer here at the Siegel Law Group.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I've met many of our listeners who were clients of attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group, not just Steve and others, but many. And all of them they don't know each other, they've never met, and they're from all different walks of life. But there's a certain thing that most everyone tells me, that they feel such a sense of relief that everything's taken care of after they get their affairs in order with you, attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group. And it certainly brings a lot of peace of mind to people. Now listen, it's always a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you tell them you heard about them on the radio, and next week is that workshop that we'll talk more about as the week goes on. Is there space left in the workshop, Barry, still?
Call and reserve their space if they want to.
Yeah. Now these workshops fill up, and as the week goes on, there's a financial benefit if you go to the workshop. You get a discount on your services with the Siegel Law Group, and you get a lot of good information. And the entire Siegel Law Group team is there. You can find them online at SiegelLawGroup.com or give them a call toll free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. All right, attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week.
All right, I look forward to it. You guys take care.
All right, back after this. All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Steve, back with us today. You know, did you see this? Just a terrible story about this train derailment with the poison gases in Ohio. I know. I mean, we've got missing missiles. We have Chinese aircraft invading the United States. We've got a land invasion from the south, and this derailment of this train. You know, train accidents and derailments are not uncommon. They're more common than you realize. But what makes this one strange and unusual is that there's a deadly chemical that's poisonous. And I've heard a lot of stories of animals dying and just a huge number of people being exposed to this hazardous chemical. Now, our trains are part of America's transportation system. And of course, when you have a transportation crisis, who do you go to for comment? The Transportation Secretary. And his name is Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Yes, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, Secretary of Transportation, Mayor Pete Buttigieg. And I believe he changed his name. His first name is Mayor, his middle name is Pete, and his last name is Buttigieg now. So we had this derailment's a bad one. I was reading reports that the train was actually on fire before it derailed, and a lot of people are being exposed to this very harmful chemical. So the Transportation Secretary, Mayor Pete, that's who you go to when there's a transportation crisis, and of course the rail lines, which, by the way, they tell us that the pipelines are dangerous for oil, that we need to transport oil through this country safely on rail. I don't know, they're talking about that today. But so anyway, Mayor Pete does his first interview, his first talk since the derailment, and this is what the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, had to say.
With your contractors, to work with your community colleges on building a workforce that reflects the community. We have heard way too many stories from generations past of infrastructure where you got a neighborhood, often a neighborhood of color, that finally sees the project come to them.
A neighborhood of color. That's code for a neighborhood that Mayor Pete does not live in.
Too many stories from generations past of infrastructure where you got a neighborhood, often a neighborhood of color, that finally sees the project come to them, but everyone in the hard hats on that project looking like, doing the good paying jobs, don't look like they came from anywhere near the neighborhood.
Right.
You can build community wealth that will help close wealth gaps in this country if we can tear down those barriers. But that happens at the delivery level.
Okay, so we have this train derailment, tens of thousands, maybe even millions of people exposed to the deadly gases created by this chemical fire, which water doesn't put out, I understand. And what does our Transportation Secretary say? There's too many white construction workers. There's too many white construction workers. We need more construction workers of color. Oh my goodness. That's what he's concerned with. No, that's our Transportation Secretary. He's right on the job.
On the list of presidential hopefuls.
Well, he'll be the first gay one. That's a big deal. We'll get that check mark.
You get that check mark in.
That's what's more important other than competence and relevancy. You know what the scary thing is about Mayor Pete? He thinks he's an accomplished person who's doing a great job. He doesn't understand how stupid he sounds, how vacuous he is, and how he's a do-nothing. He thinks he's done things and doing things.
Believes his own press clippings.
That's exactly right. My goodness. The Transportation Secretary is usually a job that you give to somebody that's a do-nothing job, that you owe them a favor, so you give them this nothing cabinet post. Well, we've had a lot of problems with our transportation, right? We got this train derailment, this very unusual fire of this chemical. The supply chain crisis still continues. The baby formula shortage continues. He did nothing about that, and he is. He did recently take a vacation to Europe after he took maternity leave, which I didn't know men took.
He's big BS.
And and vacations. I don't just like to give him a hard time in particular, but when you have major transportation-related issues, and the first interview the Transportation Secretary does, he doesn't even talk about the train derailment. He says there's too many white construction workers, which, by the way, what does that have to do with the Department of Transportation? I don't know. But I'll tell you that I think we have too many stupid people in the Biden administration. I tell you that. And you look at what happened over the last week and a half, right? We got this idiot. Let me pull this clip up I played yesterday. Hold on. Let me find this clip of Jean-Pierre from yesterday's show. Jean-Pierre was on the Sunday shows. Let me find this. This is frightening, Steve. This woman is the voice of the President of the United States. Watch, I won't be able to find the audio. Oh, yes, I found it. Hold on, here it is. Okay. This is Jean-Pierre on one of the Sunday shows talking about the handling of bringing down the Chinese aircraft. And listen to what she says at the end.
Why is the American military shooting something out of the sky over Canada?
Because it's part of NORAD. There's the NORAD is part of like it's a what you call a coalition, a consortium, and so a pact, exactly. And so that's why we were able to do that. Again, we didn't do it on our own. We did it clearly in step with Canada.
Canada, our allies in Canada. Are working in conjunction with the United States, and the Canadian government is our close ally against this Chinese threat. Yeah, Canada. That's And did you see any of the statement from the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin? Oh my goodness, he said there's no military threat from these Chinese aircraft. Really, if there's no military threat, why are they shooting at them with missiles from F-16s? If there's no military threat, why are they taking them down with missiles? I don't understand. It doesn't make,
That's the major theme of this whole thing. Because of the crisis that was created over the weekend.
That Canadian thing never gets old. That's going to go in the permanent file.
Fully realize that this is the United States right now is a ship without a rudder.
That's, yeah. Well, it may be they may be in Beijing. That's the problem. All right, we're coming up on our bottom of the hour break. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Steve back with us today. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll come back with some calls, and there's more to touch on, too, after the bottom of the hour break. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. It's The Steve Kane Show. We'll be back after this.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Gregg.
The railroad tracks divided the town by race. I was the proud daughter of Indian immigrants. Not black. Not
Steve
white.
Kane Show.
I was different. But
Hold
my
on.
mom would always say your job is not to focus on the different.
Oh, my goodness. Nikki Haley has announced she's running. Oh, my goodness. They should all be fired. I mean, they all suck. You know, don't they? They all suck. I mean, these are just the worst. We're in big trouble. We are in big trouble, people. Make sure you guys like the video if you've not already done so, and subscribe if you're not. And if you think you're subscribed, go and make sure. All right.
Scott here from CutMyKilowatts.com. We are an energy saving and insulation company. Make your home energy efficient, cut your electric bills up to 50%, and pay little or even nothing for the repairs. Make sure you get your fair share of the Inflation Reduction Act. Rebates up to $14,000 per year. Funds available on a first-come, first-served basis. Rebate programs for low to moderate income families up to $150,000 of income. $14,000 per year. This is huge. You can use this money for insulation and radiant barrier. Up to $2,800 available. Hybrid hot water heaters up to $3,750 available. AC units up to $10,000 available. Electric panel upgrades up to $6,600. And after we reduce your home consumption by 35% or more, you get additional rebate money of $4,000 to $8,000 if you qualify. To find out how much you qualify for, call me 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. Or go to cutmykilowatts.com and fill out the form.
Stomach pain or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall. If you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREONinfo.com.
Do you suffer from knee pain? Have you been told that you have bone on bone or need a knee replacement? Have you been told that you have osteoarthritis? Well, then come see us at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have non-surgical solutions that include rehab and injections that can prevent you from having to have surgery or prolong the surgery. We have been in practice for 75 years in South Florida. You don't have to live with pain any longer.
I'm just resting my voice during the break sometimes, guys. I do a lot of talking. By the way, we had a great podcast last night. If you've not checked it out, check it out. That's a good one, Laura. I like that joke. I might incorporate that one into.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show, celebrating 45 years.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is back today, giving proof of life to all those that have been asking about him lately. But he's back. It's nice to know. Oh man, are you holding the newspaper up, Steve, so we can get a picture to put on social media with today's date on it? You know. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. Oh. PJ. Hey, PJ, how you doing?
Oh, okay. Except that I'm being, like you, originally from Northeast, Ohio. I'm a little upset about very little media coverage about this train derailment.
I know.
It's a pretty big thing. I'm not kidding. Look at Drudge. There's nothing on Drudge report. All the stuff on Drudge, and yet not a thing about a toxic cloud covering the. I thought it's like almost the entire state is covered by that toxic.
Well, I read a story today that train. Now, this is unconfirmed, but I did read it in a news account today. That the train was on fire prior to the derailment. I read a story. I don't know if that's true, but I read that this morning in the news. I mean, how did that happen?
So you know what? So that might actually explain some of the reluctance to cover this, because if this is sabotage, let's say by eco-terrorists or
That's right.
Against the media narrative, you know?
Well, the eco-terrorists have been striking all over the country, but usually out on the west. Out west, northwest a lot. And they have, and the eco-terrorists, haven't they targeted trains in the past? I think they might have. Yeah.
Yeah, but so it's just frustrating to me to see virtually. I mean, I don't know, Drudge somehow or another. I mean, he sold. I don't think he sold out. I think they had other pressure on.
Someone just told me, this is unconfirmed, but this is from a credible person. Told me the train traveled 20 miles while on fire.
It just kept on going, huh?
I don't know. You know, I like trains. You know, I did my Brightline video. The Brightline's really nice, but it only costs like $100 to go from Palm Beach to Miami. It's a good deal, you know. But train derailments are not unusual. They happen. Train accidents happen a lot. Just look up the Brightline. But a train with a deadly chemical to be on fire while it is going down the tracks, and now this deadly cloud over it. I mean, you got to look at what's going on in this country, right? We have this chemical deadly cloud over Ohio from the train. We have the missing missile from the Chinese aircraft shoot down that's somewhere in the United States or Canada. We don't know if it's in Michigan, Canada, if it's in the lake. There's a lot of bad news going on around the country today, and very little coverage of any of it.
And you get the feeling there's nobody. You get the feeling there's nobody in charge. Nobody seems to be. It's like a ship without a rudder.
Yeah, that's the yeah.
You know, if I find it, I'll send it to you, but there's a video of some guy in a town right near, not miles away, several miles away from where the train wreck was in East Palestine. There was another town in Ohio nearby, and the sky is, hey folks, that's not thick clouds up there, that's poison gas. And the guy as he's talking is realizing, yeah, he's really getting angry, he's screaming, he's cursing. I mean, imagine living.
Well, you know, I would get out of Ohio, and I'll tell you, you know, I inhaled poison gas once by accident. I did not know that. You know what happens when you take ammonia and mix it with bleach?
What happens?
You make mustard gas. And oh, I'm choking now. Can you vamp, Steve?
What?
Oh, what, huh? Thanks for vamping, guys. Some coffee went down the wrong way during the break. But no, I was cleaning the floors, and I had some things I need to get off the floor. I was young, I didn't know. And I put in the mop bucket chlorine and ammonia, and it makes mustard gas, and I inhaled some of it. Because I put hot water in the bucket and it was steamy. And when you inhale a deadly gas like that, that feeling that you can't breathe is something you never forget. And it was just for a couple of seconds, and I ran outside and got some fresh Florida air. You know, this cloud over Ohio is very dangerous, very deadly. And where is the media? I see them joking around about UFOs with Jean-Pierre. Are they hung over from the Super Bowl? What's going on?
Yeah, I think the cloud to me is a lot more dangerous than the news right now. Important anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
Video I saw, it was the most. I'm serious. This frightening videos I ever saw. I mean, it was the clouds were. I mean. Like vapor, water vapor.
Yeah, I was 16 too.
Chlorine, whatever it is, vinyl chlorine.
Yeah. Well, why do you think the media are not covering these big stories? These are two massive stories. Is that the video?
These are eco-terrorists.
What's the video you sent? One he's talking about? Did you watch it? I got to watch, make sure the language is okay.
Oh, it's not good for me.
Oh, okay. That's why I was asking. Yeah,
Yeah, and by the way,
media is
yeah.
to make the administration look good, and there's nothing that they can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
And
like
this-
we're the nation of victims without a leader.
Right. You know what? This tells me that the deep state put out the word to news agencies, which now includes Drudge. They got him under control. Don't talk about this train derailment. I mean,
Well, the eco terrorists are liberals, right? They're Democrats. They're, and you can tell they're the ones wearing the Birkenstock sandals, when they're running. But they're liberals, so they don't report the story. But right now, the deadly cloud over Ohio is the top story. That's the most important because that could kill people today. And the second story is the missing Sidewinder missile from the shootdown over Lake Huron over the weekend. And neither of these stories are getting any coverage. The media are in the business, PJ, of not reporting the news, but actually covering up news. It would seem to me.
I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find that video and send it to you.
I have the video. I have the video, but I can't. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, if I was that guy, I would have already dropped my cell phone, get in my car, and get the hell out of Dodge. Just drive.
Well, this whole I don't believe in coincidences. Okay, there's three things going on. Michigan and Ohio. There's a rivalry between those two states, okay? So we've got the deadly cloud from the train derailment in Ohio. The missing missile, that's a Michigan story, right? And now we got this deadly shooting in Michigan. There's a lot of bad news coming from this Midwest region right now. It just seems a little strange to me. All right, PJ, appreciate the call. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Joellen from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen.
So I'm calling regarding these missiles, and what I was thinking was, are they just fabricating those missiles or these things in the sky and having Biden saying, "Oh yeah, I shut him down," just to make him look like he's doing something?
No, they no. You heard Jean-Pierre said our allies in Canada are part of our coalition. No, it was reported that it was shot down with a Sidewinder missile, and the first one missed. Okay, and it was mentioned on Fox News about the miss. Now Fox hasn't gotten into where's the missing missile, but no, it was shot down with a missile, and there's the one missing. No, it is true. Yeah, but well, here's the thing about it. You cut out for a second, Joellen. Say that again.
I said, or can it be just a fabrication of all of a sudden they're...
You're you're getting too... If it was a fabrication, there wouldn't be a story of a missing missile. The plane would have gone up and in all glory with its first shot took it down. I want people to understand this, okay? By the way, Joellen, we got a bad connection. Thanks for the call. This shootdown of the Chinese aircraft by the F-16 over Lake Huron is the first, to my knowledge, the first incident of a live-fire aerial combat operation over the United States mainland ever in our history. First time it's happened, which just on the face of it makes it a big story that should be reported. And now we have the missing missile, which makes it a story we really need to know more about. And we need to know who this pilot is. Is he still flying? What's going on here? What about the search for the missile? I don't know what's going on with this media, Steve. I don't think the media have ever been this corrupt before. Okay, give him another minute.
Leaves you really afraid of the future of this country.
Well, the future is now that I'm worried about. These stories that are going on today. I give you an example. The train derailment, for example, with the deadly cloud. If Trump were in office right now, we'd have already had 2 press conferences with President Trump, maybe 3, and he would have dispatched people on the ground and would be in charge of it. This accident in Ohio is too big for Ohio to handle. You need federal help, and I'm not sure that's happened. I haven't heard any stories of you know, the military have a lot of training in how to deal with chemical attacks. I would think they would know how to handle this chemical incident. So I've heard nothing about that. If President Trump were in his first term and there was a missing missile, we would have had several press conferences on that, and we would have had updates on the team from the military searching for the missing missile. You know, and what area of the perimeter has been shut down from civilians until they recover the missile. There's nothing being reported on any of these stories.
Because there's nothing being done.
Well, well, that's something to report. I mean, I've been reporting on these things all morning, and I know that these stories are going to get picked up, and people are going to get into them. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's more to touch on. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. We'll be back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
All right, well, oh, okay.
You probably don't think they exist.
Okay, not a problem. That happens. Steve Kane Show. Hey, hold on. No problem. Yeah, I'll do a live tag when we get back on it.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside, everything. Nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
We take on the social
That Jungerman?
justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
Is that him? All right, welcome back. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Well, it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals look today?
Metals looking good right now. Wild gyrations in the markets as the CPI index was announced and came in higher than expected. For most people, but not that much higher, and that sent the markets all over the place. Gold was up about $8 before it came out. Then it crashed down to about a low of $1,850, and then turned around with a vengeance and went up to all the way up to $1,871. So these markets just are really very fragile from the standpoint of they're led or misled by so many of these government reporting agencies, and the CPI coming out is just a very important number that they kind of hang on to see where the inflation rate is going. The gold yesterday we saw down $12.20, closing out the day at $1,853.30. Silver was unchanged on the day, closing out the day at $21.98. Platinum was up $10 at $956. And palladium closed up $24 at $1,488. As I said, we saw some wild movements in gold this morning, anywhere from $1,850 all the way up to $1,871. Right now, we're up $9 at $1,862.30. Silver is down 17 cents at $21.80. Platinum is down $6 at $950, and palladium is up $12 at $1,500. So markets pretty stable, still above the $1,850 support we've had for gold for quite some time, testing that support several times now, and if that continues to hold, we could see a good bounce from here. But as of now, we're up at $9 at $1,860.
Now, you know, people that are not involved in the metals yet, that are interested in picking up gold, I know a lot of times people hear these prices of an ounce, and they're like, well, that's a lot. I don't have that much money to buy an ounce. Can you tell people, William Youngerman, about fractional gold and what some of the options are for people that may not have enough to buy a whole ounce at once?
Sure, we have all of the fractional sizes in the U.S. gold coins, the gold eagles in 1/10 ounce, quarter ounce, half ounce, and of course 1 ounce sizes. as well as other countries that made different sized gold coins and different sized bars also. So yeah, we have things as far as the bars are concerned. We have 5 gram gold bars all the way up to kilo gold bars.
Yeah, and I've been over at your store many times, and people come in and they want to buy a 10th ounce of gold, and they'll walk out with a 10th ounce, and that's all, and that's great. You get 10 of those, you got an ounce. It's a great, and it adds up quick, people. I'm here to tell you. So what I'm trying to tell you is, there's gold and silver available for any budget, you know, and you should call William Youngerman, and he opens up at 10 a.m. and he'll tell you all about it. 800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, online, williamyoungerman.com, or stop right in. The address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. All right, and we are back. You with us, Steve? Okay, let's go back to our phones. Ford, you're on the radio.
And when I was in the Army, one of my jobs was a CBR guy, chemical, biological, radiological guy. And that derailment also produced a very deadly chemical agent called phosgene that was used and is controlled by our Army.
Really? It's like a weapon? It's like a weapon?
Yeah. A chemical weapon banned by the conventions.
Wow.
Phosgene's in the water there. And another thing you were talking about struck me. When you combine the ammonia and the bleach, it's not mustard you made. It's just free chlorine gas.
Well, it was pretty deadly to me. I couldn't breathe, I'll tell you.
Deadly. It's another banned weapon in the chemical arrays.
Yeah. No. So, I mean, let me ask you, these chemicals, why would chemicals that are so deadly be traveling by rail? But, you know, liberals have been telling us that we don't want to have oil pipelines. They're not safe. We want to transport oil by rail. Why would you have such deadly chemicals traveling on a train through regular neighborhoods in Ohio?
In the industrial heart of our country, those chemicals, including phosgene, believe it or not, are necessary to make plastics. Polyethylene, vinyl stuff, bushings in our cars. You know how it is. Our fossil fuels, we got to have this. That's why we need petroleum.
Well, yeah, I like plastic. You don't like plastic, Ford?
I love plastics. We got to have them. Got to be transported. How are we going to transport?
That's right.
Or through pipes.
I don't know. I just know something's odd. I mean, you know, this train, it's being, we're learning now the train was on fire. One person said 20 miles the train was on fire before the derailment. How does something like this just combust into fire? That seems highly unlikely to me on its own.
Flammable. Their fumes when they come out, just like gasoline.
Yeah, but you got to have, you know, gasoline. You got to have a spark to ignite it.
Exactly. What are rails on? What are train on? Rails, wheels. You have a crash.
Yeah, it's being reported that it was on fire before the crash. That's what's alarming because, you know, after the crash, that makes sense. But now that we're hearing that the train may have been on fire 20 miles before the derailment, that's a whole nother thing.
For flaming meteor train lines, or those other names they used to.
Well, you know, listen, I've got all the questions, and it's the press in Washington that have access to the people with all the answers. So you guys in the press, thanks for the call, Ford. You can take all of my questions today, claim them for your own, and get to the bottom of the missile and the train derailment and everything else, okay? I won't be offended. You can plagiarize me today, okay, with these questions, because we got a lot of, there's a lot of things going on. And you're right, Steve, we have no leadership getting to the bottom of any of it. It is frightening, and it's out of our control. Well, because of these questions, I mean, he's got some pretty tough things to answer too.
He's got not just the questions; he has no answers. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, they have basements at the White House apparently too. You know, yesterday when I went home and I got out of my car, I'm kind of lazy when I get home. I don't like to make multiple trips from the house to the car, you know, so I carry as much as I can. Yeah, you got probably a lot of guys do that, right? You know, and I find myself oftentimes I have so much in my hand, but I left my keys in my pocket and I can't reach my keys. And yesterday I did this, right? My hands are overflowing with stuff and I couldn't reach my keys, and boom, the front door opened. And my wife opened the door because she saw me on the doorbell camera. You know? So she just saw me out there with all this stuff and she opened the door and let me all in. Listen, the doorbell camera from Sloman's is amazing. You can get one for free. They'll tell you how when you call. Mention you heard about them on the radio. They'll tell you you can get a free doorbell camera. And of course, it's connected to the security system. Everything is recorded in high definition. There's even night vision. There's a motion sensor. You get a notification every time there's movement at your door. It's amazing. You guys know what these things do, and there's a great convenience to it too. Like I was just talking about, you know, and I'll tell you, Steve, those solicitors in my neighborhood, they're knocking all the time. I know they're at the door before they're at the door, and I never open the door for the solicitors. I can see them right there in the doorbell camera. When I see them coming up, we get real quiet, so maybe they'll think no one's home, right? And they'll go away with the solicitors. I'm going to give you the number. Call Sloman's, tell them you heard about them on the radio, and get yourself a free doorbell camera, okay? It's an amazing thing. We have one here on at the front door of the radio station, too. The number's toll-free, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. Now, I'm going to tell you, you know, there's all these stories that we're talking about today. I'm not going to forget about them for tomorrow. I'm going to find all the updates I can, in particular on the missing missile. You know, what I'm most curious about with the missing missile is how did it happen? See, Steve, this Chinese aircraft that they brought down over Lake Huron was not a balloon, they said. They said it had a propulsion method on it, and it had antenna on it, and it was shaped like a cylinder. So to me, it sounds like some type of drone. And what I want to know, and I don't know if we'll ever get the real answers to this, but before we get any answers, even wrong, misleading answers, the press have to ask the questions. And there's a Pentagon briefing every day, especially on this. And this, you know, I want to know, was it pilot error and he just missed? Or did this Chinese aircraft have some type of technology on it that interfered with the guidance system on the missile? The first missile? Did it evade the missile with the propulsion? I want to know what's going on here, because we know that the Chinese are up to something. Right? That balloon that came down a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, that was intelligence gathering, right? It flew over all the bases. What may be going on now is a test of our defense systems. And if that was a test, we failed it. If that, you know, you know, a caller called in earlier and asked about why was it an F-16, because we have F-22s now. I don't know. I want to know what the Taiwan Air Force used. Do they have F-16s? You know, and they very well may. They may not have the F-22s in Taiwan. I don't know. But the Chinese have their eyes on Taiwan. We know this. This could help them in their move against Taiwan if that was a test on our missile guidance systems. Also, Biden left a lot of equipment behind in Afghanistan that was top equipment that we know the Chinese have been all over. And I'm wondering if this Chinese aircraft over Lake Huron evaded the missiles somehow. Was it done on information that was gathered by the Chinese ripping apart our equipment left behind by Biden in Afghanistan? Lots of questions, but not enough time left in the show. We're almost out of time. If you miss a portion of the show every day, about an hour after the show, on our radio station website, trueoldiesfla.com, about an hour after we go off the air every day, the entire show is uploaded on our radio station website, trueoldiesfla.com, and they're archived up there forever, too. So if you called in and you want to hear your call, you can go pull it off of there, or you missed a portion of the show. Shame on you if you miss a portion of the live show, but you can always catch it. right there at trueoldiesfla.com. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve back today, hopefully back tomorrow too. And I just want to say God bless America and God bless the greatest president we've ever had, Donald Trump. See you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.
WWNN AM Pompano Beach. WIRK HD3
All right, guys, I got to run. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.